Some people get a bad rap just for saying one thing. One of those in the Bible is Job's wife. We all know Job, a tragic character, tested by Satan, whom God allowed to work in Job's life to see if Job was as righteous, as faith-filled, as holy as God thought Job was. Well, Job went through a lot of suffering. In the midst of it all, he's visited by friends, and his wife has one line. In the second chapter of Job, we hear his wife say, "Job, curse God and die." Now, doesn't sound like something wonderful for a wife to say to her ill husband, but Job had been through a lot, and so had his wife. Many commentators and preachers have described Job's wife as being in league with the devil, tempting Job just as Satan was. Or others give her a very wicked sense of collaborating to draw Job down in his spirit, curse God and die. There's another way of looking at it, though. Let's look at Job's wife herself. At the beginning, we encounter Job, the head of a large family. He and his wife had 10 children. They had livestock, they had property. They were known throughout the village. They had a large household. And Job was known for his good faith and his good cheer and being good to everyone. He couldn't possibly have been that good without a loving wife. She was equally good. She and Job together enjoyed their large household, their large family, and then all of a sudden, one thing after another was taken away. They lost their possessions. They lost their land. They lost their children. This loving mother lost 10 children, one after another. And then she became the caretaker of a very, very sick husband. In the midst of this, we forget her suffering while we focus on Job. But Job's wife, whose name we don't even know, so patient, so loving, so caring, so giving in the midst of this, as her life changed in one direction after another, was ever patient, ever kind, ever loving. There are many who are caretakers, caregivers to those who are dying, to a loving spouse, to a loving, beloved parent, even to a child. And you know, I've seen so many times where a person hangs on until that caregiver gives the person permission to go. I think maybe that's what happened with Job's wife. It isn't curse God and die as if to say, Job, you can't trust God. But rather, Job, I give you permission. You have suffered so much. I give you permission to go to God. Job's wife isn't really the enemy in this story. Seen this way, Job's wife is a hero. A person who saw so much taken away, so much suffering given to her instead, but who showed grace and courage and patience and love through it all. Until at last she made that ultimate sacrifice of saying to her husband, the only thing of precious value she had left, Job, it's okay. You can go. Now we know it doesn't end there. We know in the end Satan doesn't win. And indeed, God restores Job and his wife all that had been taken away. And at the end of the story, Job's wife has 10 more children. Their family is once again joyful and large and filled with love and happiness. But in the midst of that suffering, God called Job's wife to be a patient, loving caregiver, and she never lost her faith. In the midst of trials and temptations, in the midst of suffering, may God give you the same grace, that you in turn may show that to others. Not curse God and die, but bless God and live. God bless you.